Well, good morning. This has been in the pressure for about 14 hours now. Left it in overnight. Yep, it's time to wrap it up and put it in here. Unfortunately, I can't do it right away. I've got to wait about an hour or so for this to stabilize. This whole thing was like $39 or something, brand new. It doesn't have a very good thermostat. I don't really trust it. However, so far so good. It hasn't let me down. I use a thermometer just to make sure I'm not getting too hot or too cold here. Anyway, we'll be back in an hour. Now I found that sometimes the ring gets a little bit tight after it's been under pressure for a while. But there we go. And I gotta be careful not to spill the contents. Now you'll notice how little these have come to the surface. That means that a lot of cactus juice has been absorbed in there. In fact, offhand I would say there probably is no voids. Okay, I think I did a pretty good job this time. Now, I actually did not do a very good job, and I didn't notice it until later when I was editing out this video. I accidentally tore the foil on the larger one. You can see there it's exposed just a little. Well, I guess I'll know when I turn it down if it had any adverse effect. I don't really think it will. I think that it's probably, still going to be okay. 90 degrees Celsius or 200 Fahrenheit, that's about as hot as you're going to want it. Has to be at least 180 Fahrenheit though. And what you don't use, you pour back. Probably lost an ounce. And I'm told, don't put the lid on tight. Don't know if that's true or not, but hey, I'm going to follow directions. Well, that's a little over an hour and a half now, at about 200 degrees. Now, I know one time I actually forgot about it and I left it in for 3 or 4 hours and it was still okay. Well, we'll see what we got. There's the one that I didn't do a very good job on. Well, the paper came off nice and easy this time. Okay, everything is all centered up here again. Yeah, that'll be okay. Now I'm going to make a prediction, and that is that because this particular blank has had the cactus juice treatment, you're going to notice a slight difference in the shavings that come out, and also even the sound. It'll sound like drilling through sugar, like a sugar cube or ice or something. It's actually quite different. Anyway, here we go. Well, that wasn't as different as it sometimes is. But anyway, we've got it. Now this is actually quite a loose fit. I think it'll be okay, but even the CA thick is going to have a problem bonding the brass tube to the inside wall. Anyway, and now for the cap blank. I want you to notice how much more granulated the sawdust is. Now I've gone to a lot of work on this blank. I don't want to accidentally ruin it. Okay, we'll give that a try. Well, I think once I blow the dust out of there, it's going to be just about right. And I was right. It's perfect. Now I want to remember that the tolerances are a little closer on this one, which generally means the CA cures a little faster. So I don't want it to be curing with the tube half out. Okay, we'll stop right now. And curing agent. Now I do miss the fact that it turns white when it cures, because now I can't tell, is it cured or is it still liquefied? I'll give it a try here. I can always shove it back in, maybe. Now this one I'm finding is just too loose to use the CA glue on. I'm going to have to use epoxy. I've used epoxy before, and it works out pretty good, but you can see on this end especially, there's a lot of play there. I've never had it come out that bad, but I guess the drill must have started to wobble a little bit as it was going through. It's only on this end that it's really bad. The other end is not too bad at all. I just realized what went wrong here. I was using a brad point bit in a pilot hole, and brad point bits are not designed to go in pilot holes. Well, I'll know for next time. Now, because I'm going to use the epoxy, I'm going to have to plug both ends of the brass tube. Now, there's a real good chance I'm going to have to remake this one. What I did was I lightly sanded this end down so that it's completely flush, so that when I press it down here on this wax paper, it seals. And you'll see why, after a minute, why I want to do that. This hole up here at the top, forgive these funny gloves here, is considerably larger than it should be. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to fill the gap with epoxy. This is the 15-minute epoxy, by the way, so I've got lots of working time here. Now the idea is, if I put this down on this wax paper and then force the tube, which is plugged at both ends, into this, it should ooze the epoxy. Well, maybe I should have put a little bit more in there. Like I say, this may not work. In which case I'm going to be very thankful that I've got extra brass tubes. And I also want to be careful I don't push so hard that I accidentally shove the plug that's in the other end. And what I want to try to do now is make sure I've got this as centered as possible. Now I know you can't see it, but I'm looking straight down on it so I can see it. Well, my plan was I was going to put a rubber band right across the top to hold it down tight against the wax paper, but I can see I don't need to do that. Well, I hope it stays that way and doesn't move to one side or the other, because right now it's pretty well dead center.